all for coming today. I realize we had a rather small sampling of humanity, but that's okay. Those of you who are here, we appreciate you coming to see. Can you guys in the back hear me? The non-existent people in the back row? Okay, good. Okay, so this show is called Doubt. It's called Doubt, a Parable, because it's a story, right? A parable. It is set in the spring of 1964 in New York City at a Catholic church and high school. There are 9 scenes, and there is no intermission. It'll be done in about 85 minutes, just to kind of give you a clock in your head. And it's essentially written to be done without an intermission because of the increase of tension, drama, and the crises that keep piling up from the beginning to the end of the play. And if you look at the back of your program at any time, there's a little thing I put on there about doubt, because obviously that is the title of the play. One of the things that I really do like about this is that when the play's over and you're walking out today, it's up to each one of you individually to decide if, after seeing and hearing everything you've seen and heard, what determination you're each going to come to individually about what's happening. Okay? You guys have a good time? Don't have too much fun? Don't put any rocks up your nose? Except for you, Darlene, you can. I've seen in the past, it doesn't hurt you, so rocks up your nose is good. All right, let's go, baby!
What do you do when you're not sure? That's the topic of my sermon today. You look for God's direction, and you can't find it. Last year when President Kennedy was assassinated, who among us didn't experience the most profound disorientation, despair? What now? Which way? What do I tell my kids? What do I tell myself? It was a time of people sitting together, bound together by a common feeling of hopelessness. But think of that. Your bond with your fellow beings was your despair. It was a public experience shared by everyone in our society. And it was awful. But we were in it together. So how much more worse is it than for the lone man, lone woman, stricken by a private calamity? No one knows I'm sick. No one knows I lost my last real friend. No one knows I've done something wrong. Imagine the isolation. You see the world through a window. On one side, happy, untroubled people. On the other side, you. Something's happened. You have to carry it with you. And it's incommunicable. Those so afflicted, only God knows their pain, their secret, the secret of their alienating sorrow. And when such a person, as they must, cries to the sky, to God, "Help me!" What if no answers come? Silence. I want to tell you a story. A cargo ship sank, and all of her crew drowned. one sailor survived. He built a raft out of some spars, and, being of nautical discipline, turned his eyes to the heavens to read the stars. He set a course for home, and, being exhausted, fell asleep. Clouds rolled in and blanketed the sky. For the next 20 nights, he couldn't see the stars. He thought he was on course, but there was no way to be certain. As the days rolled on, and he wasted away with fevers, thirst, starvation, he began to have doubts. Had he set the course right? Was he still going towards home? Or was he lost and doomed to a terrible death? No way to know. The message of the constellations, had he imagined them due to his desperate circumstances? Or had he seen truth once and now had to hold on to it without further reassurance? That was his dilemma on a voyage without apparent end. There are many of you here in the church today that know exactly the crisis of faith that I describe. I want to say to you, doubt can be a bond as powerful and as sustaining as certainty. When you are lost, you are not alone. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. Amen.
Babe, have you a moment, Sister Aloysius?
Come in, Sister James. Who's watching your class?
They're having art.
Art. Waste of time.
It's only an hour a week.
Much can be accomplished in 60 minutes.
Yes, sister. I wondered if I might know what you did about William London.
I sent him home.
Oh, dear, so he's still bleeding then.
Oh, yes.
His nose just let loose and started gushing during the Pledge of Allegiance.
Was it spontaneous?
What else would it be?
Self-induced.
You mean you think he intentionally gave himself nosebleed?
Exactly.
No.
You are a very innocent person, Sister James. William London is a fidgety boy, and if you do not keep right on him, he will do anything to escape his chair. He would set his foot on fire for half a day out of school.
But why?
He has a restless mind.
That's good.
No, it's not. William London is headed for trouble. His father's a policeman. Last thing he needs is a rowdy boy. Puberty's got hold of him. He'll be imagining all the wrong things, and I strongly suspect he will not graduate high school. But that's beyond our jurisdiction. We just have to get him through, out to the door, and then he's someone else's project. Ordinarily, I assign my most experienced sisters to my 8th grade, but I'm working within constraints. Are you in control of your class?
I think so.
Usually more children are sent down to me.
I try to handle things myself.
That can be an error. You're answerable to me, I to the Monsignor, he to the Bishop, and so on up to the Holy Father. There's a chain of discipline. Make use of it.
Yes, sister.
How's Donald Muller doing?
He's steady.
Good. Has anyone hit him?
No.
Good. That girl Linda Conte. Have you seated her away from the boys?
As far as space permits, it doesn't do much good.
Just get her through intact.
Should I go? Is something the matter?
No. Why? Is something the matter?
I don't think so.
Then nothing's the matter then.
All right. I just wanted to check on William's nose.
He had a ballpoint pen.
What?
William London had a ballpoint pen. He was fiddling with it while waiting for his mother. He's not using it for assignments, I hope.
Of course not.
I'm sorry I allowed even cartridge pens into the school. The children should only be learning script with true fountain pens. Always the easy way out these days. What does that teach? Every easy choice today will have its consequence tomorrow. Mark my words.
Yes, Sister Aloysius.
Ballpoints make them press down. And when they press down, they write like monkeys.
I don't allow them ballpoint pens.
Good. Penmanship is dying all across the country. You have some time. Have a seat. We might as well have a talk. I've been meaning to talk to you. I observed your lesson on the New Deal at the beginning of the term. Not bad, but I caution you. Do not idealize Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He was a good president, but he did try to pack the Supreme Court. I do not approve of making heroes of lay historical figures. If you're going to talk about saints, do it in religion.
Yes, sister.
Also, I question your enthusiasm for history.
But I love history.
That is exactly my point. You favor history and risk swaying the children to value it over their other subjects. I think this is a mistake.
I didn't realize. I'll try to treat my other subjects with more enthusiasm.
No. Give them their history without putting sugar all over it. That is my point. Now, tell me about your class. How would you characterize the condition of 8B?
I'm not sure where to begin. What do you want to know?
Let's begin with Stephen Enzio.
Stephen Enzio has the highest marks in the class.
Noreen Horan.
Second highest.
Brenda McNulty.
Third highest.
You see, I am making a point, Sister James. I know that Stephen Enzio, Noreen Horan, and Brenda McNulty are 1, 2, and 3 in their class. School-wide, there are 48 such students in each grade period. I make it my business to know all 48 of their names. I do not say this to aggrandize myself, but rather to illustrate the importance of paying attention. You must pay attention as well.
Yes, sister.
I cannot be everywhere.
Am I falling short, sister?
These 3 students with the highest marks, are they the most intelligent children in your class?
No, I wouldn't say they are. But they work the hardest.
Good. That's right. That's the ethic. What good's a gift if it's left in the box? What good's a high IQ if you're staring out the window with your mouth agape? Be hard on the bright ones, Sister James. And don't be charmed by cleverness. Not by theirs, and not by yours. I think you are a competent teacher, Sister James. Maybe not our best teacher. The best teachers do not perform. They cause the students to perform.
Do I perform?
As if on a Broadway stage.
Oh, dear, I had no conception.
You're showing off. You like to see yourself 10 feet tall in their eyes. Another thing occurs to me. Where were you before?
Mount St. Margaret's?
All girls?
Yes.
I feel I must remind you that boys are made of gravel, soot, and tar paper. Boys are a different breed.
I feel I know how to handle them.
But perhaps you are wrong, and perhaps you are not working hard enough.
Oh,
No tears.
I thought you were satisfied with me.
Satisfaction is a vice. Do you have a handkerchief?
Yes.
Use it. Do you think Socrates was satisfied? Good teachers are never content. We have some 372 students in this school. It is a society which requires constant educational, spiritual, and human vigilance. I cannot afford an overly innocent instructor in my 8th grade. It's self-indulgent. Innocence is a form of laziness. Innocent teachers are easily duped. You must be canny, Sister James.
Yes, sister.
If things occur in your classroom which you feel require understanding, which you do not understand, come to me.
Of course.
That is why I'm here. That is why I'm the principal of this school. Do you stay when the specialty instructors come in?
Yes.
But you're here now while art is going on.
I was worried about William's nose.
Right. So you have art in class,
Yes. Miss Bell comes in
and you take them down for dance with Mrs. Shields.
on Thursdays.
Another waste of time.
But everyone loves the Christmas pageant.
I don't love it. Frankly, it offends me. The girl playing Our Lady in the pageant last year was wearing lipstick. I was waiting in the wings for that little jade.
And then there's music.
That strange woman with the portable piano. What's wrong with her neck?
Some kind of goiter. Poor woman.
Yes, Mrs. Carolyn.
That's right.
We used to have a sister teaching that. Not enough sisters. What else?
Physical education and religion.
And for those, we have Father Flynn, 2 hours a week. Can you stay for those?
Yes, unless I have reports to fill out for.
What do you think of Father Flynn?
He's a brilliant man. What a speaker.
Yes, his sermon this past Sunday was poetic.
And he's actually rather good at it too. Teaching basketball, I mean. I wouldn't think a man of the cloth of a personality type for it, but he has a way, very natural with dribbling and shooting.
What do you think that sermon was about? This past Sunday. What was he talking about?
Well, doubt. He was talking about doubt.
Why?
Excuse me, sister?
Well, sermons come from somewhere, don't they? Is Father Flynn in doubt? Is he concerned someone else is in doubt?
I suppose you'd have to ask him.
No, that would not be appropriate. He is my superior. If he were troubled, he should confess it to a fellow priest or the Monsignor. We do not share intimate information with priests.
I'm a bit concerned.
About what?
The time. Art will be over soon. I should go up.
Have you noticed anything?
About what?
I want you to be alert.
Of course. But I'm not sure I'm following.
Sorry I'm not more forthright. But I must be careful not to create something by saying it. All I can say is that I am concerned, perhaps needlessly, about matters in St. Nicholas School.
Academically?
I wasn't inviting a guessing game. I want you to pay attention to your class.
Of course I'll pay attention to my class. And I'll try to be less innocent, and I'll try not to perform. I'm sorry you're disappointed in me. Please know that I'll try my best, honestly.
Look at you. You'd trade anything for a warm look. I'm telling you here and now, I want to see the starch in your character cultivated. If you are looking for reassurance, you can be fooled. If you forget yourself and study others, you will not be fooled. It's important. One final matter. Then you really must be going. Sister Veronica is going blind.
Oh, dear, how terrible.
Yes, it is not generally known, and I don't want it known. If they find out in the rectory, she will be gone. I cannot afford to lose her. But if you see her making her way down those stone stairs into the courtyard, for the love of heaven, take her hand as if in fellowship, and see that she doesn't destroy herself. All right, go.
All right, settle down, boys. Settle down. Quiet. Thank you. All right. Now the thing about shooting from the foul line, it's psychological. The rest of the time you're cooperating with your teammates, you're competing against the other team, but at the foul line, it's just you against yourself. And the danger is, you start to think. And when you think, stop breathing. Your body locks up. So you gotta remember to relax. Take a breath. Unlock your knees. This is something for you to watch, Jimmy. You stand there like a parking meter. Come up with a routine of what you do. Shift your weight. Move your hips. Think that's funny, Ralph? What's funny is you not getting a foul shot. Don't worry if you look silly. No one's going to think you're silly if you make the shot. Come up with a routine of what you do. Focus on that routine. And you'll forget that you ever tensed up. All right? Now, on to another matter. I noticed several of you guys have got dirty nails. I'm not talking about the length of your nails. I'm talking about the cleanliness. See? Look at mine. They're long. I like them a little long. But look how clean they are. So that makes them okay. There's a kid I grew up with. Timmy Madsen. Never had clean nails. And he'd stick his fingers up his nose and in his mouth. This is a true story. Learn to listen. He got spinal meningitis and died. Horrific, terrible death. Sometimes little things that get you. You try talking to a girl with those filthy paws, Mr. Conroy, and she's going to take off like she's being chased by the Red Chinese. What am I going to do with you guys? Tell you what, you guys get dressed, come over to the rectory, we'll have ourselves some Kool-Aid and some cookies, and we'll have ourselves a bull session, all right? All right, go.
Delicious. Good afternoon, Mr. James. Mr. McKee pruned this bush, which was the right thing to do, but he neglected to protect it from the frost. Have we had a frost? Once it comes, it'll be too late.
You know about gardening?
A little. Who's watching your class?
The girls are having music.
The boys?
They're in the rectory.
With Father Flynn?
That's right. He's giving them a talk.
On what subject?
How to be a man.
Well, if sisters were permitted in the rectory, I'd be interested to hear that talk. I'm not sure what it takes to be a man. I'd like to know what's involved. Have you ever given the girls a talk on how to be a woman?
No, I don't think I'd be competent.
Why not?
I just don't think I would. I took my vows at the beginning. At the beginning.
The founder of our order, the Blessed Mother Seton, was married and had 5 children before embarking on her vows.
I've often wondered how she managed to do so much in one life.
Life, perhaps, is longer than we think. The dictates of the soul more numerous. I was married.
You were?
You could at least hide your astonishment.
I didn't know.
When one takes on the habit, they close the door on secular things. My husband died in the war against Adolf Hitler.
Really? Excuse me, sister.
But I'm like you. I wouldn't consider myself competent to lecture a bunch of tittering girls on the subject of womanhood. I don't come to this garden often. What is it? 40 feet across? The convent here and the rectory there? We might as well be separated by the Atlantic Ocean. I used to potter around out here, but our good Monsignor Benedict does his reverie at quixotic times. We are rightly discouraged from crossing paths with priests unattended. He's 79, but nevertheless.
The Monsignor is very good, isn't he?
Yes, but he is oblivious. To what? I don't believe he knows who the President of the United States is. I mean him no disrespect, of course. He's just otherworldly in the extreme.
Is it that he is innocent, sister?
You have a slyness at work, Sister James. Be careful of it. How's your class doing? How's Donald Muller?
He's 13th in class.
I know. That's sufficient. Is he being accepted?
He has no friends.
That would be a lot to expect after only 2 months. Has anyone hit him?
No.
Someone will. When they do, send them right down to me.
I'm not so sure anyone will.
There is a statue of St. Patrick on one side of the church altar and St. Anthony on the other. This parish serves Irish and Italian families. Someone will hit Donald Muller.
He has a protector,
Who?
Father Flynn.
What?
He's taken an interest since Donald went on the altar boy. I thought I should tell you.
I told you to come to me, but I hoped you never would.
Maybe I shouldn't have.
I knew once you did, something would be set in motion. So it's happened.
What? I'm not telling you that. I'm not even certain what you mean.
Yes, you are.
I've been trying to become more cold in my thinking, as was suggested. But I feel as if I've lost my way a little, Sister Aloysius. I want to be guided by you and responsible to the children, but I want my peace of mind. I must tell you I've been longing for the return of my peace of mind.
You may not have it. It is not your place to be complacent. That is for the children. That is what we give them.
I think I'm starting to understand you a little. But it's so unsettling to look at things and people with so much suspicion. It feels as if I'm less close to God.
When one takes a step to address wrongdoing, they take a step away from God and in his service. Dealing with such matters is hard and thankless work.
I've become more reserved in class. I feel separated from the children.
No, that's as it should be.
But I feel wrong. And about this other matter, we don't have any evidence. I'm not at all certain that anything has happened.
We can't wait for that.
But what if it's nothing?
Then it's nothing. I wouldn't mind being wrong, but I doubt I am.
Then what's to be done?
I don't know.
You'll know what to do.
I don't know what to do. There are parameters which protect him and hinder me.
But he can't be safe if it's established. I doubt he could recover from the shame.
What have you seen?
I don't know.
What have you seen?
He took Donald to the rectory.
What for?
A talk.
Alone?
Yes.
When?
A week ago.
Why didn't you tell me?
I didn't think anything was wrong. It didn't come into my mind that something could be wrong.
Of all the children, Donald Muller. I suppose it makes sense.
How does it make sense?
He's isolated. The little sheep that falls behind is the one the wolf goes for.
And it's nothing.
A first Negro student. I thought there'd be fighting, a parent or two to deal with. I should have foreseen this possibility.
How could you have imagined it?
It is my job to outshine the fox in cleverness. That is my job.
But what if it's nothing?
Then why do you look as if you've seen the devil?
It's just the way Donald acted when he returned to class.
He said something?
No, it was his expression. He looked frightened, and he laid his head on the desk in the most peculiar way. And another thing, I think there was alcohol on his breath. There was alcohol on his breath.
8 years ago, at St. Boniface, we had a priest that had to be dealt with. I had Monsignor Scully then, whom I could rely on. Here there is no man I can turn to, and men run everything. We are going to have to stop this ourselves.
Can't you just report your suspicions?
To Monsignor Benedict, the man's guileless. He just asked Father Flynn,
Well, would that be such a bad idea?
and he'd believe whatever Father Flynn told him. He'd think the matter settled.
But maybe that's all that needs to be done. If I had done something terrible and I was confronted with it, I'd be so repentant.
Sister James, my dear, you must try to imagine a very different kind of person from yourself. A man who would do this is already denied a great deal. If I go to the Monsignor, and he is satisfied with Father Flynn's rebuttal, then the matter is suppressed.
We could ask him.
Who?
The boy, Donald Muller.
He'd deny it.
Why?
Shame.
You can't know that.
And if he does point the finger, how do you think that will be established in this community? A black child. No. I'm going to think this through. I'll invite Father Flynn into my office on an unrelated matter. You will be there.
Me? What? No, sister, I couldn't.
I cannot be closeted alone with the priest. Another sister must be in attendance, and it has to be you. The circle of confidence mustn't get any wider. Think of the boy if this were to get out.
I can't do it.
Why not? You're squeamish?
No, I'm not equipped. I'd be so embarrassed. I couldn't possibly be present if the topic were spoken of.
Please, sister, do not indulge yourself in witless adolescent scruples. I assure you, I would prefer a much more seasoned confederate, but you came to me.
You told me to.
Would you rather leave the boy to be exploited then? And don't think this will be the only story. If you close your eyes now, you will be a party to all that comes after.
You're supposed to tell Monsignor.
Tell him what? That you saw a look in a boy's eye? That perhaps you smelled something on his breath? Monsignor Benedict thinks the sun rises and sets on Father Flynn. You'd be branded a hysteric and transferred.
But it could just be nothing.
I would go to the bishop, but the hierarchy of the church does not allow my going to the bishop. I'm going to have to come up with a pretext. I will bring Father Flynn into my office and try to force it. You will be there.
But what good can I do?
Aside from the unacceptability of a nun and priest being closeted alone together, I need a witness.
To what?
He may tell the truth and try to lie after.
The boys are coming out of the rectory. They look happy enough.
They look smug, as if they're keeping a secret.
There he is.
If I could, Sister James, I would certainly choose to live my life in innocence. But innocence can only be wisdom in a world without evil. Situations arise, and we are met with wrongdoing and the need to act.
I have to take the boys.
Go on, then. Take them. And sister, I will be talking to you. Hello? St. Nicholas School? Oh, yes, Mr. McGinn. Thank you for calling me back. Yes, I did hear that windstorm last night. No, I didn't know there was a great wind in Ireland and you were there for it. That's fascinating. Yes. Well, I was wondering if you'd be so kind as to remove a fallen tree limb in the courtyard. Sister Veronica tripped over it this morning and fell flat on her face. I think she's all right. Well, she doesn't look any worse, Mr. McGinn. Thank you, Mr. McGinn. Come in.
Good morning, Sister Aloysius. How are you today?
Very well. Good of you to come by.
Are we ready for our meeting?
You're just short, Sister James. Did you hear that wind last night?
I certainly did. Imagine what it must have been like back in the frontier days. A man alone, sitting by a fire in his buckskins, listening to a sound like that. Imagine the loneliness. The immense darkness pressing in. How frightening it must have been.
Well, if one lacked faith in God's protection, I suppose it would be frightening.
Did I hear Sister Veronica had a bit of an accident?
Yes, she tripped over a piece of wood this morning and practically killed herself.
Is she all right?
Oh, she's fine.
Her sight isn't so good, is it?
Her sight is fine. Nuns fall, you know.
No, I didn't know that.
It's the habit. It catches us up more often than not. But with our being in black and white and so prone to falling, we're more like dominoes than anything else.
Can I pass the time?
Not at all. Sister Aloysius and I were just having a nice chat.
Good afternoon, Father Flynn. Good afternoon, Sister Aloysius. I'm sorry I'm late, but Mr. McGinn has closed the courtyard, and so I had to go back through the convent and out the side door. And then I ran into Sister Veronica.
How's she doing?
She has a bit of a bloody nose.
I'm beginning to think you're punching people.
Sister?
Well, after the incident with... Well, never mind. Please, have a seat. I actually have a hot pot of tea. And, I'll plug with this. But not quite, for form's sake. Father, would you have a cup of tea?
I would love a cup of tea.
Perhaps you could serve him, sister? Of course. And yourself, of course.
Would you like any tea, Sister Aloysius?
I've already had my cup.
Is there sugar?
Sugar. Yes. I know it's in here somewhere. I put it in this desk for Lent last year and never remembered to take it out.
It mustn't have been much to give up.
No, I suppose you're right. Here it is. I'll serve you, though, for want of practice on your fingernails.
Yes, I wear them a bit long. The sugar?
Oh, yes. 1,
3.
3.
Bit of a sweet tooth.
1, 2, 3. Sister, do you take sugar?
Never. Not that there's anything wrong with sugar. Thank
Well, thank you for making the time for us, Father Flynn. We're at our wits' end.
I think it's an excellent idea to rethink the Christmas pageant. Last year's effort was a little woebegone.
But I loved it. I love all Christmas pageants, though. I just love the nativity and the birth of the Savior. And the hymns, of course. O little town of Bethlehem, O come, Emmanuel.
Thank you, Sister James. Sister James will be co-directing the pageant with Mrs. Shields this year. So what do you think, Father Flynn? Is there something new we could try?
Well, we all love singing Christmas hymns, but it might be jolly to include a secular song.
Secular.
Yes, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Something like that.
And what would be the point of performing a secular song?
Fun.
Or Frosty the Snowman.
That's a good one. We could have one of the boys dressed up as a snowman and dance around.
Which boy?
We do tryouts.
Frosty the Snowman espouses a pagan belief in magic. Snowman comes to life when an enchanted hat is put on his head. If the music were more somber, people would realize the images are disturbing, and the song heretical.
I've never thought about Frosty the Snowman. like that.
It should be banned from the airwaves.
So, not Frosty the Snowman.
I don't think so. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas would be fine, I suppose. The parents would like it. May I ask what you just wrote down with that ballpoint pen?
Oh, nothing. Just an idea for a sermon.
You had one just now?
I get them all the time.
How fortunate.
Yes, I tend to forget them, so I write them down.
What's the idea?
Intolerance.
Would you like a little more tea, Father?
Not yet. I think the message of the Second Ecumenical Council was that the church needed to take on a more familiar face, reflect the local community. We should sing a song from the radio now and again. Maybe take the kids out for ice cream.
Ice cream.
Maybe take the boys on a camping trip. We should be friendlier. The children and their parents should see us as members of their family instead of emissaries from Rome. I think the pageant should be charming, like a community theater putting on a show.
But we are not members of their family. We're different.
Why? Because of our vows?
Precisely.
I don't think we're so different. You know, sister, I would love it.
They think us different. The working class people of this parish trust us to be different.
I think we're getting just a little off subject.
Yes, you're right. The Christmas pageant. We must be careful how Donald Muller is used in the pageant.
Easy, sister, so you don't spill.
Of course, Father.
What about Donald Muller?
We must be careful in the pageant that we neither hide Donald Muller nor put him forward.
Because the color of his skin.
That's right.
Why?
Come now, Father, you're being disingenuous.
I think he should be treated just like every other boy.
You yourself singled him out for special treatment when you held a private meeting with him in the rectory a week ago.
Yes.
What are we talking about here?
Donald Muller.
He acted strangely when he returned to class.
He did?
When he returned, a little odd, yes.
Can you tell us why?
How did he act strangely?
I don't know how to explain it. He laid his head on the desk and,
You mean you had some kind of impression?
yes.
And he had come from the rectory. So you're asking me if I knew anything about it?
That's it.
Huh. Did you want to talk about the Christmas pageant, or is this what you wanted to talk about?
This.
Well, I feel uncomfortable.
Why?
Why do you think? Something about your tone.
I'd prefer a discussion of fact rather than tone.
Well, sister, if I had judged my conversation with Donald Muller to be any of your concern, I would have sat you down and talked to you about it. But I did not judge to be any of your concern.
Perhaps you are mistaken in your understanding of what concerns me. This boy is in my school. His well-being is my responsibility.
His well-being is not an issue.
I'm not satisfied that that is true. The boy was upset when he returned to class.
Did he say something?
No.
What happened in the rectory?
Happened? Nothing happened. I had a talk with a boy.
About what?
It's a private matter.
He's 12 years old. What could be private?
I say again, sister, I object to your tone.
This is not about my tone or your tone, Father Flynn. This is about arriving at the truth.
Of what?
You know what I'm talking about, don't you? You're hiding the expression on your face right now, aren't you?
My face? You told me you wanted to talk about the Christmas pageant, sister. That's why I'm here. Am I to understand that you brought me into your office to confront me in some way? It's outrageous. I'm not answerable to you. What exactly are you accusing me of?
I'm not accusing you of anything, Father Flynn. I'm simply asking what happened in the rectory.
I don't wish to continue this conversation at all further. And if you're dissatisfied with that, I suggest you talk to Monsignor Benedict. I can only imagine that your unfortunate behavior this morning is a result of overwork. Perhaps you need a leave of absence. May I suggest? Good morning. Sister,
Good morning, Father.
There was alcohol in his breath. When he returned from his meeting with you,
Alcohol.
I did smell it on his breath.
Can't you leave this alone?
No.
I see there's no way out of this.
Take your time, Father. Would you like some more tea?
You should have left this alone.
Not possible.
Donald Muller served as an altar boy last Tuesday morning. After Mass, Mr. McGinn caught him in the sack seat drinking altar wine. When I found out, I sent for him. There were tears. The boy begged not to be removed from the altar boys, and I took pity on him. I told him if nobody else found out, he could stay on.
Well, thanks be to God. Look, sister, it was all a mistake.
And if I talk to Mr. McGinn,
Talk to Mr. McGinn by all means. But now that the boy's secret's out, he'll have to be removed from the altar boys, which is a shame. That's exactly what I was trying to avoid.
You were trying to protect the boy.
That's right.
Well, I might have done the same thing. Sister, is there any way Donald could stay on the altar boys?
no. If the boy drank altar wine, he cannot continue as an altar boy.
Of course you're right. I'm just not the disciplinarian that you are, sister. And he is the only Negro in the school. That did affect my thinking on the matter. It'll be commented on that he's no longer serving at Mass. It's a public thing. A certain ignorant element of the parish will be confirmed in their beliefs.
He must be held to the same standard as the others.
Of course. Did you wish to talk about the Christmas pageant, or was that
This was the issue.
Are you satisfied?
Yes.
Very well then. I must be going. I've got some writing to do.
Intolerance.
That's right. You know, sister, I'm not at all pleased at how you handled yourself this morning. The next time you're troubled by dark ideas, I suggest you talk to the Monsignor.
Well, what a relief. He cleared it all up.
You believe him?
Of course.
Isn't it more that it's easier to believe him?
But we can corroborate his story with Mr. McGinn.
Yes. These types of people are clever, but not so easily undone.
Well, I'm convinced.
You're not. You just want things to be resolved so you can have simplicity back.
I want no further part in this.
I'll bring him down. Or without your help.
How can you be so certain?
Experience.
You just don't like him. You don't like it that he takes 3 lumps of sugar in his tea. You don't like it that he uses a ballpoint pen. You don't like it that he likes Frosty the Snowman. And you're letting these things convince you of something terrible. Just terrible. Well, I like Frosty the Snowman, and I think it would be nice if the school were run like a prison. And I think it's a good thing that I love to teach history. And if you think that makes me unfit to be a teacher, then so be it.
Sit down. In ancient Sparta, important matters were settled by who shouted loudest. Thankfully, we are not in ancient Sparta. Now, tell me, do you really find the students of this school to be treated like inmates in a prison?
No. Actually, by and large, they seem fairly happy. But they're all uniformly terrified of you.
Yes, that's how it works. Stay there. Hello, this is Sister Aloysius Bouvier, principal of St. Nicholas School. Is this Mrs. Muller? I'm calling about your son, Donald. I'd like you and your husband to come down here for a chat. When would be convenient?
A woman was gossiping with her friend about a man she hardly knew. I know none of you have ever done this. And later that night, she had a dream. A great hand appeared above her and pointed down at her. She was immediately seized by an overwhelming sense of guilt. So the next day, she went to confession. She got the old parish priest, Father O'Rourke, and she told him the whole thing. "Is gossiping a sin?" she asked the old man. "Was that the hand of God Almighty pointing his finger down at me? Should I be asking for your absolution? Tell me, Father, have I done something wrong?" "Yes," said Father O'Rourke. "Yes, you ignorant, badly brought up female. You've done more false witness against your neighbor, and you play fast and loose with his reputation, and you should be heartily ashamed." So the woman said she was sorry and asked for forgiveness. "Not so fast," said Father O'Rourke. "I want you to go home, take a pillow up onto your roof, cut it open with a knife, and return here to me." So the woman went home, took a pillow off her bed, a knife from her drawer, climbed down onto the fire escape, and up to her roof, where she stabbed the pillow. Then she returned to the old parish priest as instructed. "Did you gut the pillow with the knife?" asked Father O'Rourke. "Yes." "And what was the result?" "Feathers," she said. "Feathers?" he repeated. "Feathers everywhere, Father. I want you to go back, gather every last feather that flew off into the wind." "Well," she said, "it can't be done. I don't know where they all went. The wind took them all over." "And that," said Father O'Rourke, "is gossip." In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Amen. Sister James,
Good afternoon, Father Flynn.
what is that bird complaining about? What kind of bird is that anyway? A starling? A grackle?
A crow.
Of course it is. Were you praying? I didn't mean to interrupt.
I wasn't praying. No.
You seem subdued.
Oh, well, I can't sleep.
Why not?
Bad dreams. Well, one bad dream.
What about?
I looked in the mirror and there was an empty space where my face should be. It frightened me.
I can't sleep on occasion.
No. Do you see that big hand in the sky pointing a finger down at me?
Yes, sometimes.
Was that sermon directed at anyone in particular?
What do you think?
Did you make up that story about the pillow and the feather?
Yes. You make up little stories to illustrate, in tradition of the parable.
But isn't what actually happens in real life more worthy of interpretation?
No. What actually happens in life is, well, beyond interpretation. The truth makes for a bad sermon. It tends to be confusing and have no clear conclusion.
I received a letter from my brother Marilyn today. He's very sick.
Maybe you should go see him.
I can't leave my class.
How is Donald Muller doing?
I don't know.
You don't see him?
I see him every day, but I don't know how to judge these things anymore.
I stopped talking to him for fear of being misunderstood. Isn't that a shame? I actually avoided him when I might have passed him in the hall. He doesn't understand why. I noticed you didn't come to me for confession.
No, I went to Monsignor. He's very kind.
I wasn't.
It's not that, it's just, you know why.
You're against me?
It's not that.
You're not convinced?
It's not for me to be convinced. One way or the other, it's Sister Aloysius.
Are you just an extension of her?
She's my superior.
But what about you?
I wish I knew nothing whatever about it. I wish the thought had never entered my mind.
How did it enter your mind?
Sister Aloysius.
I feel as though my reputation's been damaged through no fault of my own. But I'm reluctant to take the steps necessary to repair it, for fear of doing further harm. It's frustrating, I can say that much.
Is it true?
What?
You know what I'm asking.
No, it's not true.
I don't know what to believe.
How can you take sides against me?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. I've done nothing. There's no substance to any of this. The most innocent actions can appear sinister to the poison mind. I had to throw that poor boy off the altar. He's devastated. The only reason I haven't gone to the Monsignor about this is because I don't want to tear apart this school. That black boy needs a helping hand. He's not going to make it here. But if she has it her way, he'll just be left to his own undoing. Why do you think he was in the sacristy drinking wine that day? He's in trouble. She sees me talking a human way to these children, and she immediately thinks something wrong, something dirty. Well, I'm not going to let her keep this parish in the Dark Ages, and I'm not going to let her destroy my spirit of compassion.
I'm certain that's not her intent.
I care about this congregation,
I know you do.
like you care about your class. You love them, don't you?
Of course.
It's natural. How else are you supposed to relate to children? I can look at your face and know your philosophy. Kindness.
I don't know. I mean, of course.
What do you suppose Sister Aloysius' philosophy is?
I don't have to suppose. She's told me. She wants me to become more cold in my thinking.
There are people that go after your humanities, James. People that say the light in your heart is weakness, that your soft feelings betray you. I don't believe that. It's an old tactic of cruel people to kill kindness in the name of virtue. Don't believe it. There's nothing wrong with love.
Of course not, but
Have you forgotten the message, the Savior to us all? Love. Not suspicion, disapproval, judgment. Love of the people. Have you found Sister Aloysius to be a positive inspiration?
I don't want to misspeak, but no. She's taken away my joy of teaching. I love teaching more than anything.
It's all right. You're going to be all right.
I feel as if everything has been turned upside down.
It has, though. Sometimes in life, you just feel lost. You're not alone with it. It happens to many of us.
A bond. I have to take the boys to class.
I'm sorry your brother's ill.
Thank you. I don't believe it.
You know?
No.
Thank you, sister. That's quite a relief to me. Thank you so much. be quiet.
Thought I might have had the wrong day when you didn't answer the door.
Yes, well, just between us, I was listening to a small transistor radio with an earpiece. Look how tiny they're making them now. I confiscated it from one of the students and haven't been able to stop using it since.
You like music?
Not really. News reports. Years ago, I used to listen to all the news reports because my husband was in Italy in the war. When I came into possession of this little radio, I found myself doing it again. Though there is no war, and the voices are different.
You were a married woman?
Yes, but he was killed. Is your husband coming?
Couldn't get off work.
I see. Of course, it was a lot to ask.
How's Donald doing?
He's passing all his subjects. He has average grades.
Good. He was upset about being taken off the altar boys.
Did he explain why?
Said he was caught drinking wine.
That is the reason.
Well, seems fair, but he's a good boy, sister. He fell down there, but he's a good boy pretty much down the line. He knows what an opportunity he has here. I think the whole thing was a bit much for him.
What do you mean by the whole thing?
Well, he's the only colored here, and he's the first in his school. I suppose that'd be a lot for a boy.
I suppose it would, but he has to do the work, of course.
He is doing it, though, right?
Yes, he's getting by. He's getting through. How is he at home?
Well, his father sure beat the hell out of him over that wine.
He shouldn't do that.
But you don't tell my husband what to do, just stand back. He didn't want Donald to come here.
Why not?
Thought he'd have a lot of trouble with the other boys, but that hasn't happened as far as I can make out.
Good.
That priest, Father Flynn, been looking out for him. Have you met Father Flynn? Not exactly, no. Seen him on the altar, but haven't met him face to face. Just, heard from Donald.
What does he say?
Oh, Father Flynn, Father Flynn. Boy looks up to the man. Even gives him his time. Boy needs that.
Mrs. Muller, I believe we may have a problem.
Well, I thought you might have had a reason for calling me in. Principal's big job, and if you stop your whole day just to talk to me, it must be something. But whatever the problem is, I just want to say it's just till June.
Excuse me?
Whatever the problem is, Donald just has to make it here till June, and then he's off to high school.
Right.
Because if he can graduate from here, he's got a good opportunity at a good high school and possible college. I believe he has the intelligence, and I think he wants it too.
I don't see anything at this time standing in the way of Donald graduating with his class.
That's all I care about. Anything else is right with me.
I doubt that.
Try me.
I'm concerned about the relationship between Father Flynn and your son.
Concerned. You don't say. What do you mean concerned?
That it may not be right.
Well, Something wrong with everybody. Got to be forgiven.
I'm concerned, to be frank, that Father Flynn may have made advances on your son.
May have made.
I can't be certain.
No evidence?
No.
Then maybe there's nothing to it.
I think there is something to it.
Well, I would prefer not to see it that way if you don't mind.
I can understand that this is hard to hear. I think Father Flynn gave Donald that altar wine.
And why would he do that?
Has he been acting strangely?
No.
Nothing out of the ordinary?
He's been himself.
All right.
Look, sister, I don't want any trouble, but it seems like you're on the march somehow.
I don't think you completely understand.
No, I think I understand the kind of thing that you're talking about. I just don't want to get into it.
What's that?
If you're talking about something floating around between this priest and my son, that ain't my son's fault.
I'm not suggesting it is.
He's only a boy,
I know.
just 12 years old. If anything, if anybody should be taking the blame for anything, it should be that priest, not my son.
I agree with you completely.
You're agreeing with me, but I'm sitting here at the principal's office discussing my son. Why isn't the priest in the principal's office? If you understand what I'm saying, you'll excuse me bringing it up.
You're here because I'm concerned about Donald's welfare.
And you think I'm not?
Of course you are.
Let me ask you something. You honestly believe that priest gave Donald wine to drink?
Yes, I do.
So then why did my son get kicked off the altar boys if that man gave it to him?
Because the boy got caught. The man didn't.
Why didn't the priest get kicked off the priesthood?
He's a grown man, educated, and he knows what's at stake. It's not so easy to pin someone like that down.
So you give my son the whole blame. No problem with my son getting blamed and punished. That's easy. You know why that is?
Perhaps you should let me talk. I think you're getting upset.
That's because that's the way it is, and you're just finding out about it. That's the way it is, and that's the way it's been. You're not going up against no man in a robe and win, sister. He's got the position.
But he's not your son.
Let him have him then.
What?
It's just till June.
Do you know what you're saying?
Know more about it than you do.
I think this priest may be creating, or has already begun, an improper relationship with your son.
I don't know.
I know I'm right.
Why you need to know something like that for sure when you don't? You got some kind of righteous cause going with this priest, and now you want to drag my boy into it. My son doesn't need any additional difficulties. Let him take the good and leave the rest when he leaves this place. I taught him how to do that. He knows how to do that.
What kind of mother are you?
Excuse me, but you don't know enough about life to be saying a thing like that.
I know enough.
You know the rules, but that don't cover it.
I know what I won't accept.
You accept what you got, accept, and you work with it. That's the truth I know. I'm sorry to be so sharp, but you're here in this room.
This man is in my school.
Well, he's got to be somewhere. And maybe he's doing some good. Did you ever think about that?
He's after the boy.
And maybe those boys want to get caught. Maybe what you don't know is, my son is that way. That's why his father beat him up. Not because of the wine, but because of what Donald is.
What are you telling me?
I'm his mother. I'm not talking about anything he's done. I'm talking about his nature. But you can't hold a child responsible for what God gave him to be.
Listen to me with care, Mrs. Muller. I'm only interested in actions. It's hopeless to discuss a child's possible inclination. I'm finding it hard enough to address a man's deeds. This isn't about what the boy may be, what the man is. It's about the man.
But there's the boy's nature of it.
Let's leave that out of it.
Forget it then. You're the one forcing people to say these things out loud. There are things in the air and you leave them there if you can. That's what I know. Look, sister. My boy came to this school because they were going to kill him at that public school. So we were able to get him in here for his last year. Good. His father don't like him. He come here, the kids don't like him. One man is good to my son. This priest. Does he have his reasons? Yes. Everybody has their reasons. You have your reasons. Do I ask the man why he's kind to my son? No, I don't care why. My son needs someone to care about him and see him through to where he wants to go. And thank God that this educated man with some kindness in him wants to do just that.
This will not do.
It's just so cute. Some things aren't just black and white.
And sometimes they are. I'll throw your son out of this school. Make no mistake.
And why would you do that if nothing started with my son?
Because I will end this in whatever way I must.
So you hurt my son to get your way.
This won't end with your son. There will be others if there aren't already.
Then throw the priest out there!
I'm trying to do just that.
Well, what do you want from me?
Nothing, as it turns out. I was hoping you'd have some information that would help me, but it seems you don't.
Please, sister, leave my son out of this. My husband would kill that child over a thing like this.
I'll try.
I don't know, sister. You may think you're doing some good, but the world's a hard place, and I don't believe that you and I are on the same side. So I'll be standing with my son, and those who are good with my son. It'd be nice to see you there. Nice talking to you. And good morning.
Come in.
Require a third party.
What was Donald's mother doing here?
We were having a chat.
About what?
A third party is truly required, Father.
No, sister. No third party. You and I are due for a talk. You have got to stop this campaign against me.
You can stop it at any time.
How?
Confess and resign.
You're attempting to destroy my reputation, but the result of all this will be your removal, not mine.
What are you doing in this school?
I'm trying to do good.
Even more to the point, what are you doing in the priesthood?
You are single-handedly holding this school and this parish back.
From what?
Progressive education and a welcoming church.
You can't distract me, Father Flynn. This isn't about my behavior. It's about yours.
It's about your unfounded suspicions.
That's right. I have suspicions.
You know what I haven't understood through all of this? Why do you suspect me? What have I done?
You gave that boy wine to drink, and you let him take the blame.
That's completely untrue. Did you talk to Mr. McGinn?
All McGinn knows is the boy drank wine. He doesn't know how he came to drink it.
And did his mother have something to add to that?
No,
So that's it. There's nothing.
I'm not satisfied.
Well, if you're not satisfied, ask the boy then.
No, he'd protect you. That's what he's been doing.
Oh, and why would he do that?
Because you have seduced him.
You are insane! You've got it in your head that I've corrupted this child after giving him wine, and nothing I say can change that.
That's right.
But correct me if I'm wrong. This has nothing to do with the wine. Not really. You had a fundamental mistrust of me before this incident. It was you that told Sister James to be on the lookout, wasn't it?
That's true.
So you admit it.
Certainly.
Why?
I know people.
That's not good enough.
It won't have to be.
How's that?
You will tell me what you've done.
Oh, I will.
Yes.
I'm not one of your truant boys, you know. Sister James is convinced that I'm innocent.
So you talked to Sister James. Well, of course you talked to Sister James.
Did you know that Donald's father beats him?
Yes,
And might that not account for the odd behavior she saw in the boy?
it might.
Then what? What is it? What did you see? What did you hear that has convinced you so thoroughly?
What does it matter?
No.
At the beginning of the school year, I saw you touch William London's wrist and I saw him pull away.
That's all?
That's all?
That's nothing.
What are you writing now?
You leave me no choice. I'm writing down everything you say. I tend to get too flustered, remember the details of an upsetting conversation, and this may be important. When I tell the Monsignor why you have to be removed as the principal of this school.
This morning, before I spoke with Mrs. Muller, I took the precaution of calling the last parish to which you were assigned.
And what did he say?
Who?
The pastor.
I did not speak to the pastor. I spoke to one of the nuns.
You should have spoken to the pastor.
I spoke to a nun.
That's not the proper route for you to have taken, sister. The church is very clear. You're supposed to go through the pastor.
Why? Do you have an understanding, you and me? Father Flynn, you have history.
You have no right rummaging through my past.
This is your third parish in 5 years.
Call the pastor then. Ask him why I left. It's perfectly innocent.
I'm not calling the pastor.
I'm a good priest, and there's nothing in my record to suggest otherwise.
You will go after another child and another until you are stopped.
What nun did you speak to?
I won't say.
I have not touched a child.
You have.
You haven't the slightest proof of anything.
But I have my certainty. And armed with that, I will go to your last parish, and the one before that if necessary. I will find a parent, Father Flynn. Trust me, I will. A parent who probably doesn't know you are still working with children. Once I do that, you will be exposed. You may even be attacked, metaphorically or otherwise.
You have no right to act on your own. You are a member of a religious order. You have taken vows, obedience being one. You answer to us. You have no right to step outside the church.
I will step outside the church if that's what needs to be done, though the door should shut behind me. I will do what needs to be done if it means I'm damned to hell. You should understand that, or you will mistake me. Now, did you give Donald Muller wine to drink?
Have you never done anything wrong?
I have.
A mortal sin?
Yes.
And?
I confessed it. Did you give Donald Muller wine to drink?
Whatever I have done, I have left in the healing hands of my confessor. As of you, we are the same.
We are not the same. A dog that bites is a dog that bites. I do not justify what I do wrong and go on. I admit it, desist, and take my medicine. Now, did you give Donald Muller wine to drink?
No,
Mental reservation?
no.
You lie. Very well then. If you will not leave my office, I will. And once I go, I will not stop.
Wait.
You will request a transfer from this parish. You will take a leave of absence until it is granted.
And do what for the love of God? My life is here.
Don't.
Please, are we people? Am I a person of flesh and blood like you? Or are we just ideas and convictions? I can't say everything. You understand? There are things I can't say. Even if you can't imagine the explanation. Remember, sister, there are things beyond your knowledge. Even if you feel certainty, it is an emotion and not a fact. In the spirit of charity, I appeal to you. On behalf of my life's work, you have to behave responsibly. I put myself in your hands.
I don't want you.
My reputation is at stake.
You can preserve your reputation.
If you say these things, I won't be able to do my work in the community.
Your work in the community should be discontinued.
You leave me with nothing.
That's not true. It's Donald Muller who has nothing. And you took full advantage of that.
I have not done anything wrong. I care about that boy very much.
Why? Because you smile at him? Because you sympathize with him? Because you talk to him as if you were the same?
That child needed a friend.
You are a cheat. The sensation you felt when that child looked at you with trust was not the sensation of virtue. It can be got by a drunkard from his totter brother. You're a disgrace to the collar. The only reason you haven't been removed from the priesthood is the decline in vocations.
I can fight you.
You will lose.
You can't know that.
I know.
Where is your compassion?
Nowhere you can get at it. Stay here. Compose yourself. Use the phone if you'd like. Good day, Father Flynn. I have no sympathy for you. I know you're invulnerable to true regret. And cut your nails.
Much better.
Very glad. I prayed for him.
It was good to get away. I needed to see my family. It had been too long.
Then I'm glad you did it.
And Father Flynn's gone.
Yes.
Where?
St. Jerome's.
Muller's heartbroken that he's gone.
It can't be helped. It's just till June.
I don't think Father Flynn did anything wrong.
No? He convinced you?
Yes, he did.
Hmm.
Did you ever prove it?
What?
That he interfered with Donald Muller.
Did I ever prove it to whom?
Anyone but yourself?
No.
But you were certain.
Yes.
I wish I could be like you.
Why?
I can't sleep. Everything is so uncertain to me.
Perhaps we are not meant to sleep so well. They've made Father Flynn the pastor of St. Jerome's.
Who?
The bishop appointed Father Flynn the pastor of St. Jerome's church and school. It's a promotion.
So you didn't tell them?
I told them. I crossed the garden and told our good Monsignor Benedict. He did not believe it to be true.
So then, how did you do it? What did you say to make Father Flynn go?
That I had called a nun in his previous parish, that I had uncovered his history of past infringements.
So you did prove it.
I was lying. I made no such call.
You lied.
Yes, but if he had no such history, the lie wouldn't have worked. His resignation was his confession. He was what I thought he was, and he's gone.
I can't believe you lied.
In their pursuit of wrongdoing, one takes a step away from God. Of course, there's a price.
I see. So now he's in another school.
Yes. Oh, Sister James,
What is it, sister?
I have doubts. I have such doubts.